Hello everyone. In this screencast video, I'm going to cover how to do formatting in APA style 7th edition, specifically how to do this formatting using Word Online. And just a refresher, Word Online is the version of Word that's available to you free as a DSC student through the Office 365 suite. And in order to get to that, you can see that I'm in my Falcon Mail right now, my DSC email. And if I go up here to this icon that has these little dots, I click on that, and it shows me all the applications that I have through Office 365. And of course, we're going to want to go to Word. All right, so now you can see that I am able to open up a new blank document. You'll also notice here that there is a template that Word provides for APA style papers. Now, you might think this template's going to make things easier, but I promise you it's actually not going to, so I do not recommend using the template provided. Reason being, you might need to do different formatting than the elements that are already put into the template, and when you try to go in and change things, sometimes it can get a bit wonky and difficult. So I really recommend just start a new blank document, do the formatting you need to do, set it up based on the specifications of your professor and the current edition of APA, and once you do that, you're good to go. Okay, so in the long run, it's easier just to start from scratch. All right, so I've opened up my new document. I'm going to go ahead and give this document a name. It's APA 7th edition sample paper. So here you'll see that it is auto-saving, which is one of the wonderful things about Word Online. If you're the type of person though who just wants to double, triple, quadruple check that your document has saved, you can always go to File and Save As just to check again, but it is auto-saving, which is great. All right, so the first thing we want to do is check our margins. Here, we're going to go to Layout, Margins, and you can see that it is already formatted to have 1-inch margins all the way around. Normal setting is what it is, but it's always good to just check. All right. So one of the biggest differences between APA 6th edition and APA 7th edition is that APA has made a distinction between student papers and papers created by professionals. And those would be people who are creating manuscripts and submitting them for publication. And the reason why they've made this distinction is because they know that different writers have different reasons for writing and different requirements. All right, so headers now for student papers are easier than ever. And for those of you who've used 6th edition before, you might remember the running head and how your cover page with the header had to be different than all your other pages and all that stuff. Well, in APA 7th, all you need in your header is a page number. So in Word Online, we can click on this little tab here. It pops out, says Add Header. That's one way to open up the header. But you can also go to Insert, and you can open up the header here, do a page number that way. So a couple different ways of doing it there. Click over to the right-hand side. We want our page number to be flush right. Click here, and then we're choosing the one that's aligned to the right side of the header. And you'll notice this funky little guy pops up. It says we'll add page numbers here. Don't try to delete this function out and put in 1. If you do that, then all your pages are actually going to say 1, and that's not what we want. So just leave that be. Word Online will do it automatically for you. And now we want to change our font to Times New Roman and 12. Now the reason why we're doing that is because we want our text to all be the same, and I'm going to be using Times New Roman 12-point font for this paper. It's usually the most common font and size that professors want, both for APA, MLA, Chicago. APA 7th does say, you can use any sans serif or serif font provided it is legible, it is accessible. Always follow what your professor wants you to do as well. So for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to be using Times New Roman 12-point font. All right, so now to get out of the header, you can click anywhere that's not in the header. And you'll see here, it looks like the header disappeared, right? But actually it's still there. And if you just want to check on that, you can click header, and there it is. It's just hiding. That's how Word Online does it. So if this is popped out though, it's letting you know something is in the header. Okay, so APA papers always start with a cover page, and that's what we're going to format right now. I'm going to go home, and I'm going to choose center alignment. You're going to want to make sure that everything is double spaced. So I selected my page, and now I'm going to go up to these three little dots that say more paragraph options. Now, some of you, a lot of us, might be used to going to just line spacing right and choosing 2, but there's something else going on here, and we want to make sure that we are double spacing, pure double space. And so you want to open up paragraph options. This is a more advanced tool, and this is what I'm talking about right here. See where it says after for the spacing, and it's got 8 points. So we want to turn that down to 0, and what Word was doing there is that it was adding a little bit of extra spacing anytime you were using the Enter key or the Return key on your keyboard. So turn that to 0, and then we're going to change this line spacing to double. Okay. Perfect. So now we're going to also change our font to Times New Roman 12. Okay, and then enter down a couple spaces here. Right? And then you're going to title your paper, and my title is APA 7th edition sample paper. So whatever your title is, it goes there. Now you're going to enter twice, so an extra space. And what goes on your cover page, and now again, this is following the official guidelines. A lot of the times professors will ask you to put different information on your cover page. That's fine. They might provide a template that you have to follow. If you're ever uncertain, I highly recommend just asking them for clarification. That's always the best practice there. But I'm going to show you what APA expects from a student paper. So the first thing is your name. Okay. The next thing that you want to put is your institution or your affiliation. And as a student, this is most often your school. So I'm going to go ahead and write Daytona State College. Next, you're going to have your course. So I'm just going to pretend I'm writing this paper for my Writing with Research class. So I'm going to go ahead and say ENC 1102, Writing with Research. Then you're going to write your professor's name. I'm just making this up, Professor Smith. All right. And then under that, you're going to have the due date of the assignment. And I'm just going to say April 2nd, 2020. And you're going to write it just like that. Okay, so that's how you format a cover page in APA. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to enter down till I create a new page. And you'll see in Word Online when it creates a new page, there are these little dots that pop up, and that indicates a page break. Now, if I want to make sure I have a header on this page too, I can click here and see how it's that little function still up there. That lets me know that it's still there. Okay, so the first page in APA sometimes is an abstract, but in student paper, they do say that you don't need an abstract. If your professor wants one, of course put one, but you can just start right with your paper and write your title again. All right. And so there's my title. First level headings, which are major section headings in APA, are bolded. and centered. So you want to make sure to keep that formatting. Now, that's really as simple as it is. Those are the main components of APA formatting. Of course, there are more advanced rules when it comes to second, third, fourth level headings. Same thing with tables and figures and that sort of thing. But these are really the basics. If your professor wants you to have an abstract, to have an author's note on your cover page, all of those types of formatting, those are more for professionals, but again, always follow those guidelines that they give you. And I hope you all enjoyed this video, you found it helpful. Be sure to check out the DSC Writing Center's other resources on our citation documentation info guide and on our website. And see you guys next time.